guess you'd call it poetry.
Check it out. We are the ones. We'll see you fake, tear down your state, go get yours.
Hey, this is Steve Zeltzer with WorkWeek, and this past week, the president of TWU 250A, transit workers in San Francisco, was removed from his office, and we're going to be looking at this event because it's important to workers, transit workers, and the issue of democracy in the unions and how people are removed. So we're joined by Roger Marenco, who was the president of TWU 250A and was removed this past week. Welcome to WorkWeek, Roger.
Thank you.
So, Roger, why don't you talk about, first of all, your history, because apparently this is not the first time you've been removed from office, and it seems like it's coming back again.
Yeah, full circle. When I first started my job, I was immediately suspended before even stepping foot in the office, suspended for 3 months. TWU International appealed that, and they said, nope, no suspension. Then right before contract negotiations, Roger Marenco was brought up on suspension again. Then the TWU International stepped in again and put the entire local under proceedings, under receivership. And that's when Big Brother comes in, and Big Brother and Big Sister, and they just say, okay, we are in charge now because you guys are screwing up so bad. Then about a year later, tried to bring me up on, about a year and a half later, they tried to bring me up on more charges once again. And now, right before election of TWU Local 250A officers, they go and remove my name again, suspending me for 3 years and removing my name from the ballot. And I'm just thinking to myself, goodness gracious, are these guys really that afraid of me that I have still so much support that they would not even let the elections occur? And it's interesting because last month in November 2022, I was reading an article of, I think it was the Guardian. There was a Democrat who was reelected, I think it was in Pennsylvania, but that candidate had passed away like a couple of weeks before the November election. And that person's name was still on the ballot. And that person, although they passed away, they still ended up winning, because everybody still supported that person, I guess, and, ended up winning with a landslide victory. So there is a process set in place for these types of things. You don't just go and remove somebody's name from the ballot immediately. I mean, what the hell? You talk about major violations here. And I was doing some reading of a couple of different articles, and our bylaws, our constitution, so many violations that were made in regards to this illegal election suspension, this illegal removal of my name from the ballot, and this, what I'm considering now, this illegal TWU Local 250A election of officers. So many things that were violated under the TWU Constitution, under the TWU bylaws, and I believe under the Department of Labor federal and state regulations. So many violations. So I have filed an appeal with the TWU International.
And this meeting that called to vote on your removal and have a hearing, who called?
The Executive Vice President, Pete Wilson.
And is he able to do that under the bylaws?
No. Only the president organizes executive board meetings.
So on what basis did he call that meeting?
On the basis that he is privileged enough to have the power that he has in terms of trying to orchestrate a coup, which he did indeed orchestrate. And, that's it right there. Just the privilege that he has of his status, his stature, etc.
And the issues that transit workers have been facing here, Chicago, all over the country, I mean, it seems they've been going through hell with COVID and everything else. What are the conditions and the situations, and what face transit workers in San Francisco?
The working conditions are bad. They're terrible. Constant assaults on operators, threats, harassment, intimidation. It's scary out there.
And San Francisco operators used to have some of the highest wages in the country. Sean Ellsberg, who's now London Breed's chief of staff, pushed for getting rid of that. Is there a problem recruiting because it doesn't have the kind of high standards of wages it had in the past?
Well, in terms of recruitment, ever since I was able to help negotiate a reduction in the wage progression, recruitment has actually increased and improved, so that's one of the many things that I was able to bring to the table, and operators are now able to experience those benefits, like the new hires now maxing out in pay at a faster rate, like new hires starting off at a higher percentage than before, than previous contracts, like the new hires being able to start off at more than $29 per hour starting wage. So I was able to do all of that in the previous round of contract negotiations that I was leading as the chief negotiator.
And so you're of the view that if their election had been a Democratic election, you would have been reelected?
That's correct.
And who was running for your position under this new election?
There were a total of 4 people running. Roger Marenco, Ron Austin, D. John Williams, Anthony Ballister.
And what are the differences in the views of the candidates? Do they have any differences about how the union business should be handled and the issues should be handled in the union?
Well, some of them think differently than I do in terms of how to run the organization. They have their own way, their own personal agenda of how they want to do things, which is, I guess, normal, but one of their biggest things, 2 of the candidates, Anthony Ballister and D. John Williams, have constantly just built smear campaigns against me just because of their anger and hatred that they have against me, constantly building smear campaigns against me, and so it's been personal with them. I've never taken anything personal. I know it's been strictly business with me, and it's politics. I know that politics is a dirty game. I never let any of that stuff get to me. I just carry on.
And public workers have been under attack in San Francisco and California, and it's likelihood the economy in San Francisco is going to affect negotiations, not just for you, for other public workers. What is needed in the labor movement to build solidarity and to build a strong labor movement?
Unity, strength, education, putting aside these stupid, petty differences that divide and conquer us each and every day. Petty differences that are completely irrelevant. Petty differences such as seniority, meaning, I've been here 40 years, you've only been here 40 weeks. I'm going to divide and conquer myself through that. Or your cap number is higher than mine. Or you drive out of this division, whereas I drive out of that other division. Or I'm white, you're black, he's Chinese, she's Mexican, this person is Korean, that person is Vietnamese. All of these stupid factors end up dividing us as a group, as a team, as a unit, in order to be able to mobilize and move forward in a more effective manner. And all of these small, completely ridiculous factors that we use against ourselves to divide our own selves, to conquer our own selves, are completely useless and irrelevant. Hence the reason why oftentimes we are not able to move forward collectively as one group, as one unit. Hence this coup that just occurred here in TWU Local 258, December 2022.
And there has been an ongoing crisis of corruption in the MTA. There have been managers who've been involved in illegal harassment, bullying, sexual harassment, racial harassment. Has that changed in MTA?
I sure hope it has. I've been kind of really focused on my stuff over here just because, you mentioned the word bullying, and I myself have been bullied here, intimidated, harassed. My life has been threatened, with the threat of violence, of guns. And when it went from dirty politics to dangerous politics, that's when I was just like, you know what? I don't need this shit. Not over this. I don't need this crap. I'm smarter than this. I have more skills than this. I have more experience in this. I don't need my life to be threatened over this. So if I need to take a step back in order to protect myself, my health, my family, my child, then I will. Because this is not worth anybody threatening my life over this.
And are you saying that people who want your position or want to remove you have been using these kind of tactics?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Robert Gaynor out of Potrero Division, he's a union chairperson, has been threatening my life, making constant insinuations, and I've gone on the record, filed police report against him. I filed a report against him with the Human Resources Department at the SFMTA because it's gotten to the point where I'm sick and tired of being bullied by these people that I consider to be just macho men bullies that have guns and who are constantly insinuating threats of violence. Over what? Over this? Really? Over my position? I don't need that crap. So, yeah, my life has been threatened, and I feel that my life has been put in danger because of these people that are bullies.
And if they're bullying you, what does that mean to rank and file members?
I've heard stories of others who have been bullied by him, and it's scary because they can't come forward because they are more afraid than I am, And I've just had it. I've just had it, I've had it.
And what has the MTA done about it?
Well, I just filed a report with them. So at this moment, they have simply taken my report. That's it. They haven't done anything because I have literally just barely went forward with this.
Obviously, if somebody has a gun and is threatening you, that's something to be taken seriously.
Yes.
And how long has this been going on?
Years. Constant insinuations of violence, threats, intimidation, scare tactics.
And that's happened in the past in the instances where they removed you in the past.
Yes.
So that was going on, and apparently it's still continuing.
Yeah, and it's just gotten gradually worse and worse ever since, It's gotten worse and worse ever since.
And what can members do about it?
Speak up, like I have. I know it's scary. I know that it puts you out in the front line in terms of being a target. But just speak up, stand up.
Okay, are you going to have any public meetings or organizing events about this issue of your removal and the atmosphere of terror and intimidation that's going on?
I'm going to follow through with the internal process of filing an appeal with the TWU International, and hopefully that they are able to get involved ASAP.
Roger, I wanted to find out, you said that you were being bullied. How many cases did you have in the local of workers who complained or filed charges against bullying?
I don't know how many, because I was one of those victims, and, just out of fear, you don't want to do anything, because you don't want to escalate anything. But then it just got to the point where I said, the hell with this. I'm just going to, say this guy's name, Robert Gaynor, chairperson out of Potrero Division. He was threatening my life, and so I just said, what, I'm sick and tired of this, so I'm just going to come forward. So any other ones, I don't know. I don't know.
I see. Well, there's been a history of it at MTA with particularly women being bullied. And it seems like it's continuing there.
Yeah, and it might be even more difficult for them to step forward. Just because they might feel like I do, or worse.
Sure. And they're charged, according to what was in the Examiner anyway, that you had made racial or sexist comments. That was the reason that they removed you. What's your
Right, so what's the question?
The question is, they said, according to the Examiner, that the reason that you were removed is because you made racial or sexist comments.
Not true. They wanted me out since day one, since before day one. I was suspended 30 days, 3 months. I was suspended 90 days, 3 months, since before I even stepped foot in the office. The International overturned that through the appeal process. Then a year and a half later, during contract negotiations, they bring me up on charges and suspend me again, a couple days right before contract negotiation. The International steps in and says, hey, no suspension here. Then after that, they try to suspend me again. Nothing happens there. And now, once again, a couple days before the election, they suspend me again. I mean, it's always, some of these people have not wanted me in there since day one. It's been obvious since before day one. I've been brought up on more charges than every single Local 258 president in history combined. I've been brought up on more charges than every president in Local 258 combined. I've been suspended more than any other president. So, it just goes to show you right there the amount of anger, hate, animosity that some of these guys have against me. They wanted me out since day one, and they're going to, make anything up, whatever it is that they want to, in terms of trying to get me out.
Okay, well, I want to thank you very much for joining us. We've been talking with Roger Marenco. He was the president of TWU 250A, which represents the transit operators in San Francisco, and he was removed last week from the election, and he's challenging that and appealing that. Thanks for joining us on WorkWeek, Roger.
Thank you, Steve.